Okay. We are here in the REMCO Real Talk podcast studio with two divas.
Oh,
We're running late. It's
divas.
1:07. This was supposed to start at 1 o'clock.
Wait, we were 10 minutes early.
You were the diva. You were late.
I was slightly late, but I felt like we had makeup and hair time, so we're gonna have to move fast. No,
We had to fluff and puff.
Gosh.
I have Nicole in the studio and Danielle. Nicole is with a colorful braid studio service in the Newtown Athletic Club, and we have Danielle from Local Spotlight, the heart of the voice of small businesses. Correct?
Yes, yeah,
All
that's a good way to put it.
Good way to put it. So, ladies, thank you so much for being on. I know you guys are friends outside of work, and it just worked out really well to get you both in the studio at the same time. So let's let the listeners know a little bit about your businesses and your entrepreneurial spirit, and let's see who goes first. Let's do rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
All right.
is it best out of 3?
No, 1.
Oh.
You guys were 7 minutes late.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So Nicole will take it. Nicole will
All
take
right.
this. So tell us a little bit about
So-
your business. Tell us a little bit about why, the entrepreneurial call came to you.
Well, I'll speak on the entrepreneurial call
Sure.
first. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was the owner of Robert's Collision Service for 30 years. He fixed cars. He actually went to Temple to be a teacher, but then ended up in the car industry and had a successful business for a long time. And then my aunt has been my mentor my entire life. And she is the owner of Four Seasons Total Landscaping,
Wow.
which went viral during the 2020 election.
Okay.
So I would say, like, watching, my dad work so hard and watching, my aunt work so hard at their respective businesses, you don't realize it, but, present day, like subconsciously, I was watching all of that.
Mhm.
And so I was a teacher for 22 years
Really?
prior to starting Beauty and Braidzzz, which started in 2020. And so I knew that I couldn't continue being a teacher and grow the business at the same time. So we hit that kind of like 4-year mark, and it was always kind of in the works, but I knew it was the right time to go. And so a lot of things that I learned throughout the years teaching really helped me in, entrepreneurship.
Wow. Absolutely.
So
Was it tough to leave the teaching profession after that long of dealing with children? I mean, you did mention when we first met how you recruit some of your customers, and that's from children in school with the braiding. And was there any overlap there? Do you take care of any of your students or
Well, I
students'
taught high
daughters?
school Spanish.
Oh, interesting.
So I was at Council Rock North for my entire career.
Okay.
And so most of those kids really weren't getting their hair braided because they're past the age.
Mhm.
So our age range is pretty much like 5 to 12, might be cutting it,
Mhm.
5 to 11, 12. However, I did hire a couple of my students after I
There you
retired.
go. You kept good in
That
touch with
worked
them.
out.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so I had some amazing, literally all amazing kids. I'm really truthfully saying that I had an
Wow.
amazing career for 22
So you've really
years.
seen the entrepreneurial spirit from a child with your father, then to your grandmother, and now leaving teaching. That's a hard thing to leave after 22 years of doing something that you're used to, and making that transition.
It was a big decision,
decision, yeah.
because I loved teaching so much. And I was always really passionate about the Spanish language and like working with kids and like helping mentor kids and stuff
Mhm.
like that too became something that became part of my job. But as everybody said, COVID changed so much about,
Mhm.
the workplace and what work looked like. And there was so much more technology. And so I felt like it was the right time to go because there were a lot of changes.
Mhm.
And then I had this amazing, business happening on the side. And so I really had so many ideas for it that are
Mhm.
now coming to life.
That's
which is
awesome.
cool.
So at one point in that journey, did you guys meet? Like how do you know each other?
Well, Nicole and I met we went to high school together,
Okay.
but we were a year apart at Archbishop Wood in Warminster. And we kind of like, we knew each other and we were friendly in school, but we weren't like real close because we were a grade apart. You know, in high school, you don't really intermix with the other grades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't cross that line.
You know,
Yeah.
and then after, you know, fast forward when we were in, it was like 2012 or something, we ran into each other at Warminster Park. She was walking and running, or we were both walking and running. And basically we exchanged information, became friends on Facebook. And ever since then, it's been a continual progression of our friendship.
Wow.
We started working out together. Then we started, you know, spending time outside of that together. And then through various different things that have kind of aligned in our life personally, and then with our businesses, we just take the world on very much the same, and it works out really good for both of us.
So important to have somebody, you know, around that actually makes you that better person in life or in business or outside of business and personal life.
Yes.
So I can definitely, like, just being in the room with you and meeting you both, or meeting Nicole last week and seeing you both interact on the business side, I can see that you bring the life out of each other. Like life, you put life and spirit into each other. And
really
you guys are really,
Thanks.
you guys are really on the up and up trajectory. Like between the content that you both have been posting, which I really want to spend some time learning about. You're everywhere. The two of you are everywhere. You're attached to a lot of good things happening in Bucks County, in Doylestown, and the surrounding communities. So, are there any like current projects you guys are working on together that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think like just to tap into what you're saying, I'm so glad that that comes out, because that's something that we're very intentional about our friendship and about our businesses and the way we handle everybody. I think both of us, and that's why we connect so well and have stayed on this upward trajectory of our friendship and business relationship, is that we want to handle people the same way. We really appreciate everybody we meet, and we understand that like we don't know why these people are in our lives, but that it's going to be something awesome. Like as long as you're giving out what you want back, you know, it's just this great reciprocal.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like we both handle each other that way. We handle all of the people that we do business with that way. And so it lends to us just like taking the world on in this like magical way. I feel like we both feel very excited about the future, and that like it's magical. Like every day we walk, we also we walk together,
Really good.
and we'll spend like 45 minutes to an hour and a half walking and just like downloading all of what we're contemplating for our business, for the future, new recent interactions we've had, you know, outside of one another with each other, business ideas. And it just helps to infuse both of us to keep going. And we're never competing with each other. Like that's the other really important thing, is that sometimes just people just they butt heads in that way, right? But like we energize each other.
I think, like you
and
said,
we inspire.
it's seamless, right? Like even how when we met, and we'll get into more about, you know, your company, Local Spotlight, Danielle, because I feel like you have such an ability to help so many different industries with your product and your company. But it's seamless. Like there's no reason to compete, because you all can benefit by working together.
Yes.
And I know that this past year, I would say that you and I have really, really developed that really awesome circle or sphere of influence where we have an answer for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And depending on what direction we're referring that product or that service out to, we know it's going to get done properly. And we know that it's somebody that we actually like outside of business.
Yes.
And I think that's so important. But it took me 5 years, I would say, in the insurance industry. My 5-year birthday is in February, middle of February.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
5 years of an insurance agent, and I guess
we're on the same path.
We all are.
Which is
because we're all like 5 years in.
to Danielle's point, it all ends up making sense.
It does.
The people that you're working with,
It
right?
does. It
because
starts to make
when you
sense.
look back, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because when we first got started, I mean, I met Danielle, I knew Danielle through the chamber and things like that, but you walk into these large rooms of 200, 300 people, and there's all different people at certain points in their life and their career. And sometimes it's hard to relate to people that are either on their way out or just getting started or in the middle. I think we've really hit our stride. Like we're in that point right now where we're really picking and choosing who we want to do business with, for good reasons and for personal reasons as well.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I'm at a very fortunate spot 5 years in to know, you know, the two of you and know our circle. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's seamless. Back to, you know, seamless and being able to help each other in your business, Danielle. I mean, I can't believe how many companies and how many people know you and know your products. So let's talk a little bit about kind of Local Spotlight and how that came about.
Oh my gosh, Local Spotlight. Well, it's so funny because we're on the same timeline, all of us. I mean, I really started doing little Local Spotlight videos like back in probably like 2017, 2018. And that was affiliated with an old business that I had, the organic grocery store.
Yep.
And I would do these videos and I just felt so infused and excited. Like I would go out and interview people on site that we sold their bread, their chocolates, whatever. And it was before short form video was out. It was
Before
when,
Reels.
yeah, it was way before
Wow,
Reels.
okay,
So it was just like little video interviews. And then, I stepped away from that and started applying it to the local community because I'm like, you know what? I can help so many people locally with this. I'm not sure how I'm going to monetize it or how it's going to make sense, but I know that if I continue to pour into what feels good, it's going to come back and it's going to make sense and it's going to unfold. So actually, in 2020, I interviewed Nicole at my house in the dining room. It was right when Beauty and Braidzzz started.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
we have a video, and I actually am going to put the pictures up on
That's
Instagram
great.
soon because I
Yeah.
found them on my phone the
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
day,
it
and
was
it
really
was so
funny.
cute. But it was me and her sitting in there, and I had a Beauty and Braidzzz party for her, and it was like towards like a certain point of COVID where people were starting to get out again and whatnot. But we did that little interview, and I used to have somebody follow me with a video camera and edit it and everything. It was such a big, cumbersome effort to do these videos. Fast forward over time, a lot of different local businesses started asking me, hey, we love what you're doing on social media. We love what you're doing. Is there any way that you could help us out? Or what can you do? How can you help us with our social? Or how can you help us with our marketing? We want to get involved somehow with you. So, as the years progressed and things unfolded and I started figuring out my time and money and how to make it all work, it just kept progressing. And at this point, it's like, like the Doylestown Cardinal have reached out to me, asked me if I would run their social media. I said, sure, but could I have my own column in your newspaper? They
Nice.
said, sure, this is a good synergy because then, you're going to bring more eyes to our, and everything just kept unfolding in the right way.
Awesome.
And the people that I meet, I love it. Like it's fun every single day. I'm on the road in the car heading somewhere else.
We have
right?
fun when we go out. Honestly,
I'm sure you guys look like you're having fun.
Danielle and I try not to spend money when we go out because we went to Haddonfield and I literally came home and I'm looking out and I'm like, I lost money today. I got to go sell more insurance because I bought shoes and I bought
funny.
Yes, we both spent a couple $100s that day on
you
random
mean
stuff
when you
when we
go
were
to the
shopping.
actual
when we do our
places?
outings because
Yeah.
we're, we generally, Danielle does a great job of scheduling it out and planning everything accordingly, which, I really appreciate that. And that's kind of the behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. But when sometimes we wing it, and we'll just be like, this store looks good, and we'll walk in and we'll meet an owner, but I'll be like, oh, those are pretty cool.
Right.
He left with a pair of running sneakers. I left with a fur coat.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And we had coffee.
They love when you guys show up. Then.
Right.
You're like,
They
here
do.
they come. They're gonna buy stuff too.
Yeah.
Good for you with leading, and I'm sure Nicole, you did it as well. You led with what made you feel good. You led with making a change. Not you said I'll monetize it later, right? So you already unlocked that. There's so many people that go in to a career, go into an industry thinking about how much money am I going to make first?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what is this going to have repercussions wise on my life, on my relationships, on that? If it's all about the money, then something else has to give. But if you wake up every day invigorated to make it positive change, you can always figure out how to monetize it.
You can. And the thing is that there's so many different ways, and there's so many different ways that I can help people too. It's like some people bring me on as like that they want to be a monthly client and they'll have a monthly retainer with me. Other people are just looking for like a 1 month PR push and I can cover them. Other times they want an article written about them. They want to be featured on my page. Like there's various different ways, and I'm more than happy to like cultivate a package with each person individually.
That's awesome.
So that's been the sweet spot for me.
That's awesome. And then for Nicole, let's talk a little bit about your location too, because you are in the Newtown Athletic Club, which gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of foot traffic. Tell us a little bit about your space in there and, how that has changed over the years.
Sure. And one other thing I just wanted to add with what you guys were talking about is just about leading with what makes you feel good and with purpose.
Yes.
And I think especially entrepreneurs, I think a successful entrepreneur leads with purpose and intention and how the business makes them feel. I don't think most of us go into it thinking about how much money you're going to make first. You actually really like it. Like my business is like my baby, it's like,
it's fun. You
it's
like
my
it.
baby.
Yeah.
I like to watch it grow. I love to see what's new, like
Mhm.
what's coming up next. It's like all
And you
these
think
stages.
about it. I think, you have that. It's on your mind 24/7, 365.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
That's when
gosh, it's all
that's
you
when you
can
know
do
you
is
kind of
think.
you're doing the right thing because
Yes.
in a healthy way. I mean,
Yeah.
it is hard to sometimes turn off, but you're always thinking about how am I going to better this, or how am I going to help this employee, or get this person to move up, in the company, or how am I going to better this product or our service. When it's constantly on your mind, you know that you kind of like caught the bug.
Yeah.
So you kind of like you're in the right place.
Yeah.
So
we caught it.
Yeah.
so
for
you went
sure.
from the home. Your first video was in the home, and then you've obviously grown a lot. So you're
Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, Danielle hosted a party for Abby, her daughter Abby. That
Oh,
was
okay.
that was back. That was the one that was back in
yes,
2020.
Yes.
And that was kind of when I was first getting started.
It's
Yeah.
like a launch.
So I
launch
helped
party.
support her from day
That's
one.
Of course,
awesome.
from
That's
day
awesome.
one, we've
Yeah.
always
Day
been.
one, I was throwing
Well,
parties for her.
Nicole. You have a ton of support now.
Yeah,
Oh my
your
goodness.
following is absolutely incredible, and like you can just see the engagement and all the actual genuine comments that are being
Genuine.
left.
People are so
Mhm.
nice. Like
Yeah.
people have been so nice and so supportive, and it's been like the most positive
Yeah.
experience that I could have had.
Mhm.
And yeah, I did start out of my home. I started braiding. I guess my first braid was 2019, and I was like, this is adorable. Like this would be such a cute business. And I have to say this, my mom and my sister might get mad, but my sister's like, I don't know, Nicole, nobody's going to pay for that. And they're like, because I'm always the dreamer,
Right.
and that's why Danielle and I get along,
Yeah.
because we are very much dreamers,
Mhm.
but I think we're also doers.
There's nothing wrong with
Right.
that.
We're also
Yeah,
doers.
we
So
are, we
like we
are.
can have a
We're a
dream
combo.
and we can write the actions down and the steps down and say, okay, this is what I want, and these are the steps that I'm going to take to get it. So
Sure.
there's a difference.
There
You
is
could
a difference.
have your head in the clouds all day, but if you don't take
Mhm.
any action, something's going to happen.
100%.
So I did start it out of my business. I created an Instagram page. I was like, what could I call it? Literally was sitting on the couch. Like I did not give this much thought. I mean, I hate to say it, but I really
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, oh, maybe Beauty and Braidzzz. That sounds cute. Like a play on words.
Sure.
Like you could have beauty and brains, like that saying, beauty and
Okay.
brains.
Yeah.
And so like because I wanted the brand to be about self-confidence and beauty from the inside, beauty from the outside, everything comes from within, and the confidence that the braids give.
Mhm.
So when I created the Instagram page, I uploaded some pictures. People seem to love it. I had a colleague of mine book a party. She was the very first party in 2019, at the end of 2019.
Mhm.
And then it started, and then I contacted another colleague who ran a summer camp,
Okay.
and I just asked him, I said, hey, what do you think about us braiding the campers like during their lunch break or whatever, with the colors? And he's like, that's great. And, so I went and I did it, took pictures, everything, posted it. And then we had a segment on Good Day Philadelphia, actually
Okay.
in 2020. Jen Frederick came out.
Nice.
She did a whole segment on the company. And that was 5 years ago. And we're about to have our second one tomorrow with
That's
Bob
awesome.
Kelly. So yeah, I started out of my house, and then we did pop-ups. So the business model was not having a brick and mortar, but really just like bouncing around to different companies. And
Mhm.
at the time, everybody was scrambling because nobody was going anywhere,
Yeah.
and so like we did a pop-up at Holy Chic Boutique, which is now reopened in the Northeast. But I went from my house. It got way too big. I was doing it in my dining room. Then I converted my loft.
Just have braids everywhere.
I had
Whole house
hair
is just-
everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Hair is everywhere. You know that song? I'll show you later.
so it was like, okay. And then it became like a lot of strangers coming to the house.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I was
yeah.
like, okay, like, and then you have a public page, and then it's my home, and my son
Yeah.
is,
Gotta
I have a son.
Yeah.
And so
That reminds me of like when my mom used to have Tupperware parties.
I know.
Oh,
And
yeah,
like
random people
she would
coming
just have
in.
like 30 like women
Pampered chef.
downstairs. Yeah, and all this.
know.
And I would come down because they would always like cook stuff, and I'd be
Yeah.
like
You
go
want a
down for the
snack?
Swedish meatballs. And I'd take them. She's like, Jay, we did so good. I sold all this Tupperware, and I'm like, what?
That's so funny.
But-
Women are always from back in the day doing those
Yeah,
kinds
all
of
those
things.
To your
fun
point, I mean,
things.
you've really scaled. You scaled to the point where you
Yes.
couldn't. You needed to take the next step. You needed to take the next step.
Yes.
Where like, you know, again, you bring up a good point, safety, you know, your home, you have to have the separation of, you know, home and business. So your spot at the NAC is wonderful. you
Yeah.
know,
So
and it's good clientele that come through.
it's amazing. So we started at Holy Chic. The owner there was nice enough to give us space. We were there for a year. Then we moved to Strata, her other store.
Okay.
Those stores closed. One's now reopened, but we moved into the NAC, and I had contacted Kim Worthington because she had asked us to do. They do a charity, a tea party.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure if it's for cancer or heart, something.
Okay.
One of those charities. But anyway,
Have a heart.
Have a Heart is their
Mhm.
charity. Yeah, it's for that.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks.
I
I should
always
know
thinking
that.
for you.
So anyway, I pitched the idea to her because I thought, you know, so many of our clients are NAC members. We had the instructors, we had the kids.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been a teacher in the district for 22 years, and I just know a lot of people in the community.
Mhm.
And I was like, this would be a great spot. Like everybody goes to the NAC,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody, if they're not at the NAC, they want to go to the NAC, you know.
Mhm.
So she was like, I think it's a great idea. And then they contacted me. Like it was actually a couple months later, and I just kind of let it sit and
Mhm.
see like if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And then they contacted me, and we are now there, and we love it.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm always looking. If I lived a little
Couldn't
closer,
be a better spot.
couldn't be a
Alright.
better spot. Yeah. I know we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time in Newtown and in
Yeah,
Yardley.
we
It's
do.
a great area to be in.
It is. It's awesome. I know me and Jay all the time when we're like scheduling our monthly outings, you know, to go do our marketing. It's like we're always like, okay, we're picking different spots, but we always somehow end up back in Newtown because
Right.
Newtown really is the hub, and it has so many awesome
It-
businesses and so many awesome small businesses that
Yeah.
are growing and changing, and we end up at the NAC a lot too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So Danielle, with the scaling of the business, I know I've met you at a stage in your business where you've scaled and now you're continuing to scale. And what is next? Like what's next for you?
Oh God.
Yeah. What's
A lot.
a lot?
Yeah.
Well, I have a number of really so my business, the local spotlight with Danielle, is definitely growing.
Mhm.
It's growing. I have some people that I've added on, you know, to assist me with other things so that I can like be freed up from being in front of the computer. So like I can really be out. I don't like being behind the computer. That's not my spot.
Me neither.
I like to be out and about creating buzz and meeting people. That's where my strength is. So the people, you know, I need someone for digital and SEO and website development and creation of like PDFs and things like that. And so I have that. So that's great. And so that frees me up and I'm able to really be out and about more, creating more business. But this year, I have really had the opportunity for some larger accounts, I would say, people that have reached out to me or been, you know, very good referrals to where they really need help scaling their business, or they want, you know, my impression on their business, or they want me to help them with their footprint or whatnot. So a couple that I am working with right now are really great accounts that are really going to be, it's like I'm going to probably have, you know, a solid 5 good accounts, and that's what I can handle
That's smart.
at this point.
Really
you know?
smart. Really
So,
smart too. To just realize that at
Yeah.
this stage in your career and your company's growth, that your time has kind of evolved to
Yeah.
nurture a larger sized account. And sometimes 5 large accounts
Yes.
mentally also are healthier for
Yes.
you, and also more lucrative at the end of the day than
Yeah.
100
Yeah,
small
little ones.
accounts.
It's too much. It's too much right now. But like I said, like I can still do the spotlights on people and things
Sure.
like that. That's like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
But as far as like monthly is concerned, that would be probably where I'm going. So that's where I'm going with local
Good.
spotlight. I'm growing that. And then and I'm really excited about like the footprint and the different like areas that I'm going to be going into, because obviously Bucks County is my spot. I know Bucks County inside and out, love
Yeah.
it, wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But you know, I'm getting the opportunity to kind of like dip my toe in like Chestnut Hill area
Nice.
and Rittenhouse and Philly, and be in those areas a little bit more with some different people. So it's going to be exciting to see
I
what comes
always
from that.
thought about this, but I never really brought it up until now. But now it's a good time. It's almost like you have such a good Rolodex of suggestions
Oh,
for
thanks, Jay.
for recommendations for restaurants or
Yeah.
hair studios or things like that. You almost
Yeah.
could come up with a book just on that
Oh, that's
to
a good
then
idea.
provide
Like an
to
ebook?
like an
Yeah.
ebook or something, being like, in the past 5 years, these are all the businesses I spotlight, and here's a list of
Right.
recommendations for this
Oh.
area, this area, this
Yeah,
area.
that's a good idea,
You
Jay.
know?
That's another one I'll
No,
add
just
to my
another
thing.
idea
That's cute.
because you and
I
I
like
we have
that.
we like to dream too,
Mhm.
and there's like some ideas that we float around, and we're always there to help each other. Like if I can connect Danielle, or I excuse me, I can connect Nicole in any way to somebody who can, I guess, just check a box for them or complete something that they're working on, whether it's
Mhm.
personal or business. That's honestly probably one of the things that gives me the most joy,
It feels so
is
good.
just
Yeah.
connecting the dots, even knowing that you're not gonna get anything
Right.
from it. And I
Right.
think that's one thing that maybe for the listeners, if you're getting started in the entrepreneurial route, and
Mhm.
I was, I'm guilty of being this too. I went into it like, it's a quid pro quo transaction. If I'm not getting anything, you're not getting
Right.
anything.
Right.
The sooner I started forgetting about that and started just trying to help people, then I was finding that it might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen next month, but in a year, somebody's going to remember that and be like, hey, my
Mhm.
friend needs this, or they need that, or they need help with
Yes.
They
this.
need to remember.
And it's usually like a really,
Yeah.
really good like
Yeah.
referral.
It always
It
is.
always
It
is.
is
Yeah.
because
Always
people know
positive.
you took care of them, and as long as you're doing it, like you're so genuine. It's like today I had a client meeting, and I went to this bistro with this woman who I had recently spotlighted.
Mhm.
And her bistro is in a shopping center where she's just looking for more foot traffic. She's looking for more exposure. And basically, like, I brought somebody in there for a meeting on purpose so that she could have coffee there and see
Smart.
this place. Well, now she's going to have her cater all of her
See?
monthly meetings, right? And now I'm
Wow.
kind of going to host an event there next week for a different group that I am doing events for. So it's just about, and this woman doesn't owe me anything.
No,
We don't have a
no.
client base, but I know she has given,
Sure.
she's given me her backstory,
And
and
there
I
was
understand.
strategy. There was strategy involved. It's not, you have to
Yes.
kind of be good at this, or either just cut your teeth on doing it wrong. Like,
Right.
you knew that bringing somebody there that would be worth her time to spend time with, at the same time, it was kind of hitting two birds with one stone, because
Yes.
you were, showing face and taking care of your
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
So I find myself, always trying to think strategically.
Yeah, and you do. I think you really, really do. You're very strategic about that. And that's what's so important, is like all of these relationships that we're cultivating, and we all know so many people from our area and extended
Mhm.
at this point. But it's like you start to know, like, who do I want to do business with? Who am I gonna? And it's just because you start to realize, like, the reciprocal, and who treats you a certain way and who doesn't, and who's
Mhm.
there for
Yeah.
you, and all these things, and who wants to build and who's also looking to build. Like,
Yeah.
all three of us are in the same respect, where we're like, we're go-getters, we're hustlers, we're looking to build, we're looking to grow, we're looking to communicate and surround ourselves with good people
Yeah.
that feel good, that
Yeah,
want to grow.
trustworthy
Yeah.
people.
It's
And I
Yeah.
think that's the other thing, is like, I know if you give me a recommendation
Mhm.
or Danielle gives me a
Mhm.
recommendation, I know I can trust them.
Yeah,
Right.
And so,
absolutely.
like, that's
feels
so
so
important in
good.
business,
It cuts out
because
all the fat.
right. And it's just like even any relationship that you have, like,
Yeah.
everything's built on that. So I think that that's super valuable, like, to me,
I
when,
agree.
building, business relationships with other
It's a
people.
small world too. Like
It
Bucks
is.
County is really small. So
Yeah.
like the fact
It
that we're
is.
all in Bucks County for the most part in the surrounding areas,
Yeah.
I think just even having the power of social media, and anybody who watches this or listens to this sees that they're, Danielle, Nicole, and Jay are all talking together for an hour.
Yeah.
That to me is so valuable, because not only are you're willing to trust me with your reputation of releasing something on social,
Mhm.
where like I really pick and choose the people that I want to display on my page.
Yeah.
And I know that you
Yes.
manage that really well
Yeah.
too. You're like, we're not going to put this on. We're going to put this on. But
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the other night, oh my God, it was, I don't know what was happening. It was like the Twilight Zone on
the
Monday.
post.
Oh,
And I
my
won't spend
God,
too much
this is
time
so
on this, but
funny.
I
Monday,
knew she was going to kill me.
I was losing my mind, because from Monday morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. Sunday night, I went on CapCut, which is my video editing app, right? all of my videos are hosted on there. Everything we've ever done are hosted on there. Now, I do have some of them saved and downloaded, but before I post, I usually don't download them. So I had some new ones that were sitting there waiting. So Sunday night, I go on them to get everything downloaded for the week. And it kept saying, like, you got to connect to the internet, yada, yada. And I'm like, I'm on the damn internet. Like, what's going on here? So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going to bed. I'm going to wake up really early tomorrow and I'll just post it tomorrow morning. So I go to bed, wake up at 5 a.m. Now CapCut's shut down like TikTok was, right? It's the same thing. And it says like CapCut is no longer available, this and that. And I'm like, is this a joke? So then I'm like doing research on it. I'm clicking on it. Long story short, my videos are gone. The app's gone.
Oh my God.
Now I'm having to pull up the raw footage and create a new thing to get posted by 6 a.m. And so I did this all day long. They kept deleting it. I was working on different video apps. I'm trying to learn new video apps, right? And trying to, it's very complicated. And then
That's all I heard. So it's like behind the curtain, all the things, and all
you
the things.
You didn't sound like a chipmunk.
He did, but it wasn't as bad as yours.
I was horrible.
Yeah, you both were chipmunky,
I
but you
was
were pretty
like-
You
bad.
make a really good chipmunk.
Thank you.
I
mean, I was like,
guys were
this
bad.
is so weird.
So, but that brings up a good point because, and I know it was like 8 o'clock at night or something. I was just getting ready to leave the gym, and I like deleted like the good version of what Danielle worked all day for, and she was,
she's like, I'm gonna kill Jay.
She was, but I was like, no,
I'm literally going to kill Jay. And Nicole's like, oh, it's my fault. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because you
I took the
messaged me
blame.
and you were like, I'm not going to
I took the
collaborate with you
blame.
till
I'm like,
tomorrow.
it's not
I'm
his
like-
fault. I told him to.
I'm like, I can't talk to either of you right now. I gotta go. I'm going.
But the end product was amazing. I mean,
It turned out
honestly,
great. It was fine.
It was
we
great, and there
beat
was
the
so much-
algorithm. Like it worked
Seriously.
well.
did.
You know, it's so funny
It
because
was.
I was just saying that
Yeah.
to Danielle. I was like, you know, I have for 2025, one of my goals was to show my face on my social
Mhm.
more, and so people can connect me with the brand more.
Mhm.
And I've been posting a whole bunch of reels and everything, and like it's kind of like, meh, you know, like some of them will get like some traction and some won't, but this one really did. I
So
was like,
I'm going to speak to that a little bit
Oh.
because I too, when I first got involved, I came from the hospitality industry. I never did deal with social media. I never was, very comfortable even doing anything like this. But the sooner I actually broke that, the better the page did. Because
Mhm.
what I found was I was actually like kind of hiring, I guess, personalities through like Fiverr or something like that to like
Mhm.
be the Remco face. And it was horrible.
oh,
Mm.
So then I was just like, all right, we can't do this. And then I started recording myself in my house.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
was
these were the
they're
first one
so
with your
cringe.
basket.
They're so cringe. No, even before that.
Yeah.
I used to put on I had like 9 different
Suit
suit
jackets.
jackets. I was like the big Marty of insurance. And I was
Yeah,
like, this
that's
isn't
so funny.
I was
Oh
like, this
my
isn't
God,
the vision.
Jay.
This isn't the vision for where
But
we
it
need
was
to be.
a start.
yeah.
It was a start. And then
gotta
I
start somewhere.
started kind of doing some more of the basket videos and reaching
Yeah.
out to some of our clients and doing some more of a give back during COVID. But I guess there's different stages. What I'm trying to get at is different stages to your evolution of being comfortable with social
Mm.
to the point where then you really just get so comfortable with it that,
Mm.
yeah, my mom makes jokes or my sister makes jokes or something like that.
Right.
But I like, I like the business that comes in from it and I like the
Mhm.
connections and the people I'm making from it. So it gets easier over time. But I think that that's a really smart thing for you to put a face to the brand and just know that it never can be somebody who's not physically attached to the brand. It needs to be
Right.
someone who bleeds the brand
Cares. Yeah.
and cares
Yeah.
because then there's no connection to the customer.
Right. And
So-
that authenticity and that passion for what you're doing, like if you were to use the Fiverr
Mhm.
guy or whoever it
He
was
was
going
so
to be.
bad.
the
So I shipped him a
I don't
Remco
think you ever
polo. I was
told me
like, put
this.
this on. He was from like Utah. It was so
Oh my
yeah,
God,
it's got to
Jay.
be you because,
Yeah.
and you're
You
awesome
care.
at it, and you're so
try.
good at it. Like you would never know that, like you weren't maybe comfortable with it in the beginning, but
I
Right.
appreciate
nobody
that.
likes to listen to themselves.
I appreciate
talk.
that.
I
I think
mean,
because I represent the brand, but I love to bring up my team and like I like to continually thank my team and also like bring everything back to the team and I let them know that yeah, okay, maybe I'm the face of the brand. Maybe I'm somebody who gets you in the door, but I'm nothing without the 15 other people in the office in Southampton right now who are
Mhm.
pumping out the product.
mhm.
And that's where I really, really monthly and weekly I remind them like and then I try to get them on camera and then they run away. So I mean
Yeah.
like
We've
Well,
had success a couple times.
that's okay. Like I mean, even so, my girls that work for, I have about 5 girls that work for me, and you know, I would not be able to have this business
Right.
without them. So I appreciate them so much, and I look forward to the future where I can give back more to them
Mhm.
because this is, a team effort.
Sure.
We're doing this together. Like you said, like you're the one out on the front lines, like networking,
Yep.
marketing, all of building relationships.
Mhm.
But they are,
They're doing
just
the
as
dirty
much
work.
a part of. They're just
in
as
a
much a
sense.
part of it.
I'm sure they would
And
consider some of this the dirty work too. So it's just your,
yeah,
It's
it's
your
just-
perspective. It's what you're comfortable
Correct.
with.
Yeah, like
what you're
I
good
love
at.
doing this, but my girls would not want to be doing
And
this.
it's important
They
to-
prefer to be doing that.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
I'm saying they're
like-
doing the behind the scenes, the nitty gritty, the nuts
exactly.
and bolts. Yeah.
and like for me, like I couldn't possibly. I love braiding; it's therapeutic to me. But for me to braid as much to
Mhm.
take up all the hours that they braid and do all this, I would burn out and I wouldn't be able to do it right.
Sure.
Mm.
How
You
long
know?
does a braid take?
It depends on the style,
Okay.
but double braids, which is what most people get, takes between 15 and 20 minutes.
Okay.
So not bad.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I developed the technique that we use is a lot shorter than sometimes what you might see when they do feed in braids and they take strands at a time
Mhm.
and feed it in. I just use rubber bands at the top and loop the hair in, and literally it's like so much faster for kids. So
Nice.
it's great for kids because they don't have to sit very long. And then moms are happy because they don't have to do their kids' hair for like 5
Couple
days.
Wow.
And then they
Okay.
take it out and it's like this
Real
wavy.
fun, like a mermaid hair.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
like wavy and it looks so cute. It's
Okay.
a whole nother style. So they're really getting, 5-6 days at 2 different styles, and mom's happy.
Is this a newer trend? Like, has this been popular for a while, or do you feel like it's hitting its peak right now?
Well, braiding has
The colorful aspect. To
Oh,
it?
the color.
'Cause you
No,
really
it's
attack-
existed.
Okay.
I certainly didn't come up with it. I mean, culturally, it's something that's existed for centuries.
Mhm.
But our spin on it, I would say, is that it's kid friendly because it's fast,
Mhm.
and we just build in that mobile birthday party and event piece. And we have a lot of festival goers.
Mhm.
So like the house music and the
Mhm.
EDC, I think it's called EDC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last
I
time
learned a
checked.
whole lot about festivals
Yeah.
through the business, and the coolest people
Yeah.
ever. Like
I
they're
have a
so
couple
nice.
friends. They are diehards. They'll and the outfits and I mean,
Right.
the braids. The braids
Outfits.
feeds right into it. But,
Yeah.
it's a full experience.
Yeah, and so there is actually funny story. One of my former students is a shuffler.
Okay.
So shuffling is like a style of dance that I never heard of before, but it's
Mm.
like pretty much like happens a lot at these festivals. And it's a really cool dance. If you want to look it up, it's called shuffling, and you
Mm.
could find it easily. But so there was a girl named Elena Cruz. Elena Cruz, and she's like the pioneer of shuffling.
Okay.
And she was good friends with one of my former students, and I worked out with her mother, my student's mom at Derek's, where
Okay.
we
Oh,
worked out
finished,
together.
yeah.
Finisher Fitness. And so she was like, "Oh, Blair's looking for somebody to do her hair for the festival this weekend." And they live in New York, but they couldn't find anybody even in New York. So I was like, "Okay, well, I took the train and I did like
Nice.
all 6 girls, and I got a lot of content. It was so fun.
Yeah.
I learned a little bit about, the festivals, and then I started getting a lot more festival people.
Let me say the following there is it's strong.
It is a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
niche type thing.
So as we approach the holidays, I mean, this will probably be released before Valentine's. I know we kind of are working on a Galentine's Day promotion. So for anybody who visits your studio and uses what, REMCO,
Oh, yeah. Well, if they say REMCO,
you're going to give them a discount.
I'm going to give them a discount.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's 10% off. So
That's if they have a Galentine's party.
If they have a Galentine's party,
All right,
yeah.
let's push the Galentine's party.
Yeah.
We'll make a short of this. We'll
Pink
push.
and red braids for everybody.
Yeah.
Lavender.
That's fun. That's
Mhm.
popular now. The whole Galentine's.
It is popular.
Are you
Yeah.
having a Galentine's party?
I am. You're coming next
Oh.
Wednesday.
We're doing a REMCO
Yeah.
around town.
Are you coming, Jay? He
We're
can't
having-
come. He's not a
it's
gal.
No, he's not a gal. Sorry, Jay. Yeah, we're
Wait.
having a Galentine's
Oh,
party at my
right.
house
It is
with
on
the
my
One
calendar.
Hope
Something had
Winery.
to do with wine.
The One Hope Winery
Oh,
is coming.
yeah.
It's like a fundraising event. Yeah. So that's next Wednesday.
Good content to
but,
come then from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danielle, are you with the holidays and I guess Valentine's Day and any promotions or any type of philanthropic? I always mess that up.
Philanthropic.
Are there any
Philanthropic.
type of
all
services or anything that you're attached to?
Well, I will say that I like in addition to my marketing business, I have two other really exciting projects that I'm working on.
let's talk about
I can't say too much
Okay.
yet, but one has to do with a book,
Mm-hmm.
which is really exciting, and the story behind that is
We're gonna keep that.
pretty incredible.
We're gonna keep that on the DL.
We will, and when I am ready to tell it, we will do.
Because when that's $1 million seller,
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
if it's in Barnes and Noble,
it's-
because we know the insights.
Yes,
It's cool.
yes.
We're gonna refer back to this podcast,
Yes,
and
we
I'm buying
are,
it.
and
Yeah.
that's going to be a cool one. So excited about that.
Yeah.
But another project that I'm working on has to do with apparel, we'll say,
Okay.
and it is I am living and breathing the idea right now. And like you said, when you're just like so excited about something and you can't stop thinking about it, I am so excited about it because I have all of these ideas just keep popping off in my head that have to do with it.
Mhm.
And I know that there's like one major thing that has to happen first, but then it's just going to keep going. And the vision I have for it is like
I love it.
yeah.
Now, are you like do you write down as these ideas come to you, or how do you like to log, or do you just like keep them all bottled up?
I keep them in my head and I'm constantly
tells me.
recycling them. I tell Nicole on our morning walks. She helps me download and
There you
process
go,
how we're
yeah.
going to
It's
do it all.
downloaded in my brain.
I know. When I was going through something like the other day, like something personal, Nicole's like, I literally feel like I'm going through this
I was gonna
with
say,
you.
you're like save
literally.
that to your brain.
Yeah, I
She's-
mean,
she knows
Yeah.
exactly
We share so
how I
much.
feel like
Yeah.
about it. And so with the, but I do use my notes section of my phone.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
I like
yeah.
the notes.
It's
you know,
easy.
even if it's a collaborative like project
Yeah.
or something. I've learned that the notes is pretty cool because you could share it. But
Yeah.
where do you guys walk at? Do you walk in?
Oh.
Tyler Park
Tyler
a lot.
Park.
I love Tyler. They got good hills.
They have
Yeah.
great hills. It's great for the glutes.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
one hill there that like warns you. It's like this
Yeah.
is extremely steep
we
hill.
do that one.
Yeah.
Well, we do that one, but we got attacked on that. We almost got attacked on
We
that one
did
last
By the
almost
week.
get
horse?
attacked.
No,
No.
by
There's, like,
a
wild horse-
person. By a
Oh,
person.
geez.
It was very
yeah,
strange.
it was
Is
scary.
he on the loose still? She? He? I don't know.
I don't know.
We have Mace now.
We have Mace now. Yeah, a friend of ours got us Mace. So now we have that in our pockets. But yeah, that was a
Yeah.
little strange episode. But not to talk bad about the
No, no,
park.
no,
We love
for
the
sure. I
park.
love
the park.
and we
Yeah.
go there every
It's
day.
safe.
And
I-
sometimes we go in her neighborhood.
I always see like people riding horses.
I do too.
And-
You could do that
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice park. I love it.
We're not going to be riding horses. Not yet anyway,
No.
but you never know.
No,
That's
maybe
crazy.
riding a horse into
Never
the
know.
sunset somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that
Actually,
did just
in
pick up
Mexico,
a farm.
we're going to Mexico together.
Oh, we are going to Mexico.
Yeah,
We just
in
booked
April.
that yesterday.
Yeah. Actually,
So
I have to
much
pay the
happens in
deposit on the
24
ride back.
hours.
Yeah, I know.
So much happens in 24 hours.
We laugh
we
because I'm like, Danielle, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. I was like, but I'll talk to you tomorrow. Who the hell knows what's going to happen in another 24 hours
Oh my God.
That's
We
fun.
send each other world emojis and it means
as the world
as
turns.
the world turns.
It was an old, you're too young, but it was an old soap opera that was popular, like General Hospital,
Yeah.
as the
It was
world
in the
turns,
80s and
in
early
the 80s and
90s.
90s.
and it would say
I
like
will
and
admit I have no idea.
and
what
the
you're
voice-
talking about.
the beginning of the show would come on and it would have like a world and the guy would go, as the world turns. And I feel like so
in
once
that
me and
voice.
yes. And so me and
Pretty
Nicole like
much.
have pretty much like for months now, like whenever I just send her a world, I'm just like,
You
as the
know
world
it.
turns,
I
as the
love
world
it.
turns.
like if we have
as the
news,
world
if we have
turns.
news for somebody, like if I have news
Yeah.
for her, I'll just send her a globe. I'm like,
You have an
it's going down.
you have an
flash, call me when you can.
unspoken way of
Get over
here.
communicating. I love that.
Yeah.
An emoji
Yeah.
means so much for you guys. That's great.
It does.
When you brought up the Twilight Zone, I was like, the Twilight Zone is always something that I watch when I'm sick or like
Yeah.
on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's funny.
The Twilight Zone?
I've probably seen every episode like 10 or 20 times each. And there's
Oh
like
my
5
God,
seasons.
I've never seen it.
Jeez.
I've never
That
seen
used
it.
to be something that was popular in the 90s. 80s?
Way back. Yeah. Black and white. So
Wow.
Stop it.
don't
It
sleep
was
on
not
Jay.
black.
Jay knows his old stuff. So
This one was black and white.
it's black and white. Yeah, I think it's like a 70s.
They probably had a couple remakes.
I just
Nicole, you're
remember my
thinking.
parents talking about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
remember
Black
like somebody
Mirror
watching. I
came
guess
out,
my dad or
which
something.
is like the newer version of it, Black Mirror.
Yes,
which is,
I
like,
saw
pretty
one of
good
them.
too, but
That was creepy.
I don't know. Well,
Well, I want to say,
yes, please.
you go ahead. Were you
I
gonna
was
say
I was
something?
just saying we're kind of getting close to the end.
I know. So that's why I
Oh,
wanted
we
to
are?
say,
Yeah.
we're getting close to the end of it. As the world turns has to end. We have to do other things today.
Yes.
So, although I'd love to sit in here because
I
I love it,
know,
but
this is fun.
I just wanted to say, Jay, you have been an absolute pleasure as a client starting off initially, but then our relationship has grown professionally and personally, and I just appreciate you and your work ethic and how genuine you are and generous and kind and how you're trying to do the right thing. You know, you really are by your clients, by your business relationships. And our relationship has just been able to continue to flourish and grow because we both have good intentions towards it. And I'm so glad that you and Nicole have recently met and
Yeah,
now that
woohoo.
business can combine and
Absolutely.
go. And
Yeah.
there's just
I still need an insurance quote.
yep.
It always comes later. It's not important.
Yeah.
We'll get to
I know
it.
it's not.
Just
but
like
I'm
the
just like,
compensation,
oh.
but we'll be happy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Danielle.
Yeah.
We'll be happy to take care of anybody. But I just I feel very confident in 2025
Same.
with the seamless interactions that I have in my network and in my book of business and in my my company. All my employees, I love them to death. So
Yeah.
we're going to continue to move forward and grow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you guys are going to have a big day tomorrow on Fox.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for anyone who's going to be watching. How early is that?
It's going to be
That's
on
not
at
as early
9.
as
Bob
last
is
week.
well. Bob.
You were
is-
like,
yeah.
I'm peeling into the e-house at 4 a.m. And I'm like, what?
Oh, the Eddington house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Bob is supposed to arrive at 9 a.m.
So he's coming. He's doing
He's
his
coming
on
to the
Kelly
Mac.
Drive. That deal.
So he's gonna so they're gonna do. Typically, what happens is he will film the content for the live Good Day Philadelphia
Got it.
show, and then directly after he'll do the Kelly Drives
We're giving
excerpt.
away all his secrets, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Shh. Well,
Behind
anyway,
the
if
scenes
it,
tell.
so tune in to Fox. Look for Nicole. She'll be at her studio in the NAC. And for any of you who want to follow these lovely ladies, they're incredible. They're on IG. They're on Facebook. Check out their pages. And we will be tuning out here at REMCO Real Talk. So thanks so much, Danielle.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Nicole,
so
for
much,
coming
Jay.
in.
It was
And
awesome. So
and
much
Joe-
fun. Thanks,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Thanks, and thanks Danielle for connecting me
Yes.
with not only Jay, who's amazing and like so authentic and so nice, and so you do a great job. But thank you for everything,
Yeah.
all your connections.
Aw, thanks,
I hear the
Biz.
music.
Joe's got the
I hear
music
music.
coming
Yes, we call each other
in.
Biz
I'm like,
too. B-I-D,
cut.
Z-Z-Z.
ZZZ.
I'm like, cut it.
We're done.
He's
Okay.
like, cut, you're done.